Hi, welcome to Topper Learning. I am Himangi. In the last class, we studied some part from the life process nutrition. We learned autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, photosynthesis and nutrition in amoeba and paramecium. I also gave you 5 questions for the assignment. Did you practice answering them? Before starting the next topic for today, let's see the solutions for the last assignment. Make sure you cross-check your answers with the answers which will reflect on the screen, and wherever necessary, make the corrections in your answers. The first question was, explain the major events which take place during photosynthesis. And the answer for this question is, the major events which take place during photosynthesis are 1. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. 2. Conversion of light energy into chemical energy. 3. Splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. And 4. Reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. Make sure to write crisp answers, and your answers must be in points. This will help you to score good marks. Let's move on to the second question. Write the chemical equation for photosynthesis. The chemical equation for photosynthesis is 6CO2 plus 12H2O form C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2 in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll. Let's quickly move on to the third question. What is heterotrophic nutrition? State its 3 types with one example each. An answer to this question is, the mode of nutrition in which organisms cannot synthesize their own food but are dependent on other organisms for food is called heterotrophic nutrition. 3 types of heterotrophic nutrition are saprotrophic nutrition, its example is mushroom. Second is parasitic nutrition, and the example is leech. And the last is holozoic nutrition, and paramecium is its example. The fourth question asked was, describe nutrition in amoeba. Now make sure that every step of this process will start as a new point in your answer. Let's see the answer. Amoeba forms temporary projections of the cell surface called pseudopodia. Pseudopodia engulf the food and fuse with it to form a food vacuole. Inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken into simple substances with the help of enzymes. Simple substances diffuse into the cytoplasm, and the last point will be the unwanted material is taken to the cell surface and thrown out of the cell. Now for this question, one important thing is, if this question is asked for 2 marks, then do not draw the diagram. But if the same question is asked for 5 marks, then diagram is a must. The fifth question was, how do guard cells control the opening and closing of stomata? It's a very easy question. Let's see its answer. Guard cells present on both sides of the stomata. When water enters the guard cells, these cells swell up. This causes the stomata to open. When water leaves the guard cells, they shrink and the stomata close. So these are the answers for your last assignment. Now let's complete this topic nutrition today. We will continue studying the nutrition as a life process, where we will study the human digestive system. We all eat variety of food every day. be it during breakfast, during lunch or during dinner. The digestive system helps us to obtain nutrients from the food we eat. So let's begin learning some interesting things about the human digestive system. Today we will learn the parts of human digestive system, role of each part of the human digestive system, glands associated with human digestive system, and the mechanism of digestion. Here, while studying different parts of the digestive system, we will learn the mechanism of digestion simultaneously. Various parts of human digestive system are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. Associated glands are salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. Now, the associated glands help in smooth digestion of food. Mouth is the first region of the alimentary canal. It has teeth, tongue and the 3 pairs of salivary glands. Now let's know more about teeth. Teeth are embedded in the upper and the lower jaw. Each tooth is placed in a separate socket called the gums. When the teeth are of different shapes, the condition is called heterodont. For example, human beings have heterodont condition. If you observe your own teeth arrangement, you will find that the shape of your front teeth is different than the shape of your teeth present at the back of the jaw. When the teeth are similar to each other, the condition is called homodont. Such type of teeth arrangement is found in lizards and frogs. The function of teeth in digestion is teeth break down food into small particles. Now why it is important to break down food into small particles? Because the small particles are easy to digest. Remember, it is important to take a proper care of your teeth. If the care is not taken, then it may lead to the tooth decay. The next structure present in the mouth is the tongue. The tongue is a fleshy and muscular organ present in the buccal cavity. It is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity at the back region of the mouth. The tip of the tongue is thin and narrow. The upper surface of the tongue contains several papillae or sensory buds. The functions of the tongue are: it mixes food with saliva. It also helps in the mastication and swallowing of food. The taste buds present on the tongue help in detecting different tastes of food. You can see the diagram of the tongue and the taste buds on the screen. Let's move on to the third feature of the mouth, which is salivary glands. There are 3 pairs of salivary glands. You can see the image here. One pair is located behind the tongue and the other 2 pairs are located just below the tongue. The salivary glands secrete saliva. The 3 pairs of salivary glands secrete approximately 1.5 liters of saliva every day. Saliva is slightly acidic in nature. Its pH is 6.8. It contains the enzyme amylase, lysozymes and some ions such as sodium and potassium. The salivary amylase present in the saliva initiates the digestion of starch. Let's see some more functions of saliva. The mucus present in the saliva lubricates the food. It also moistens the food. The mucus helps to convert food into a soft ball called the bolus. The bolus can easily pass through the pharynx. When the water content of saliva is less, it leads to the dryness in the mouth, which induces the feeling of thirst. Another important function of the saliva is it keeps the mouth lining and the tongue moist. This helps us in speaking. Let's see how much you have understood so far. Your question is, state the functions of the tongue. And the answer is, the tongue mixes food with saliva. It helps in mastication and swallowing of food. The taste buds detect different tastes of food. Now, the mouth continues into pharynx and the pharynx continues into the esophagus. Esophagus is also called the food pipe. Esophagus is about 22 centimeters in length. It connects the mouth to the stomach. The internal wall of the esophagus is lined by the mucous membrane. This mucous membrane secretes the mucus. Food travels to the stomach through the esophagus. Now, does the food simply slide through the esophagus? No, it is pushed down towards the stomach by the muscles of esophagus. The esophageal muscles contract rhythmically, which creates a wave-like movement in the esophagus. This rhythmic contraction of the esophageal muscles is called peristalsis or peristaltic movements. The esophagus does not produce any digestive enzyme, but the amylase of saliva continues to act on the starch present in food. Do you know it takes only about 7 seconds for food to pass through the esophagus to the stomach? At the end of the esophagus is a sphincter. Now, what is sphincter? Sphincter is a circular muscle which can contract to close or open any body passage. Here, in this case, the passage of esophagus into the stomach is controlled by the sphincter. The significance of the sphincter that once the food enters the stomach, the sphincter will ensure that the food does not backflow into the esophagus again. We have discussed important points on the esophagus. Let's check how much you have understood so far. Define peristalsis. And your answer is rhythmic contractions of muscles present in the walls of the esophagus which helps to push the food towards the stomach is called peristalsis. The next part of the digestive system is the stomach. The esophagus continues further as the stomach. Now, stomach is a J-shaped bag-like organ. See the diagram here. The stomach is located on the left side in the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm. What is diaphragm? It is a muscular partition which separates the thoracic cavity or the chest region from the abdomen. As soon as food enters the stomach, it expands. The muscular walls of the stomach contract so that food in the stomach is churned with digestive juices. One more interesting fact about the stomach is, in an average adult, the stomach can hold 2 to 3 liters of food at a time. Food stays in the stomach for about 3 hours. After mixing of food with gastric juices and its partial digestion, it attains a pulp-like form called chyme. The stomach is lined by a mucous membrane. The mucous membrane contains several glands called gastric glands. These gastric glands release three juices. They are hydrochloric acid, enzyme pepsin and mucus. Now let's understand the functions of gastric juices secreted by the gastric glands. First is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid destroys the germs present in food. It also maintains the acidic environment inside the stomach. Now, why the acidic environment is essential in the stomach? It is for the action of pepsin. The second gastric juice is mucus. The mucus protects the lining of stomach from the action of hydrochloric acid. Pepsin present in the gastric juices begins to digest proteins. Now this enzyme does not digest proteins completely. It digests them partially. Let me ask you a question. State the location of the stomach. The answer is, the stomach is located on the left side in the abdominal cavity below the diaphragm. Next is small intestine. From the stomach, food enters into the small intestine. The small intestine is the longest part of the digestive system. It is 6 to 7 meters in length and about 2.5 to 3 centimeters wide. There are sphincters at the end of the stomach which release only small amount of food into the small intestine from time to time. At the junction of the stomach, the small intestine is the site of complete digestion. Carbohydrates, proteins and fats which are digested partially in the stomach are digested here completely with the help of enzymes secreted by the liver, pancreas and intestinal glands. Let's take a short break and come back soon.